We are going to ask you, Pete Burrows, the burning questions that are coming your way about our finances. Basically, this is a pulse check for all of us here in Australia right now. What is going on with our money and how do we sort it out? What are some questions?
All right, so one of the first questions, I do get asked this quite a bit from generally older clients, is should parents be asking for board/rent when their adult children are living at home and working full time?
Oh, what's the answer?
My answer is yes, people. Yes, 1,000 times yes.
Because that's what your parents did and that's what my parents did for me.
I paid board from when I was 18, left school, had a full-time job. Horses for courses. You need to base it on the family's needs and also the income. But I think it teaches people responsibility. It teaches them life lessons. And it's also just part of like being a good person. If you live at home and you're making good money, well, you're still eating at home. You've still got a bed. You're still using the internet. You still might get driven around. And I've got more clients now, I notice, that will ask their kids for board, partially because I think cost of living pressures, you need to, but also too, they're just saying, this is the best lesson I can teach my kids, is how to be responsible.
And you'd like to think that kids who have reached such an age and are in such a situation might acknowledge what their parents or caregivers are doing and may be on the front foot. They might offering up that they may want to.
I'd say it's more of a back foot defence than leading on the front foot saying, please let me pay board. But most of them will do it. They know it's the price of staying at home.
Speaking of kids and money, do you think there are any good bank accounts for kids? And then the follow-up question, how do I get my young kids to see the value of saving? Are you across good bank accounts for kids?
Yeah, look, probably less so as my kids are a bit older. I think what I've noticed with bank accounts...
There's a lot more newfangled
100%
ways of going about it now for kids.
There is. As a parent who's probably got to manage that, you think, what's something that is sustainable and simple that I can do, but it can also teach my child a lesson? And I would think the best thing to do with a bank account is, I know it seems crazy, spoiler alert, put money into it.
Oh.
Yeah, I know, yeah. Like, don't tell everybody. Shh.
Did you say put money into
Put money into the bank account and then try not to take it out. So often these banks...
Try not to take it out.
I know, but you're writing this down, people. So put money into it. They will often pay you some sort of bonus interest if you're making regular deposits. It's very hard to give little kids big concepts about things in the future that they mightn't necessarily be able to understand. But a simple example was when my kids started work, they all wanted to buy themselves a phone. And I'm like, okay, well, you know what? The phone's going to cost $1,000. You do not have $1,000 today, but if you saved $50 a week from your part-time job, you can buy that in 20 weeks. And if you actually saved money and earned some interest, you could actually maybe buy a better phone, or you could actually buy the phone a bit quicker. So you need to put it in concrete terms, in terms of like a savings target, or that they could see the savings was worth it. And especially with, compounding and earning more interest, they could actually earn something on their money as well. So you need to have concrete target and something that the kids could understand that they're saving for.
Pete, before we get to some more of your fresh burning questions that you are definitely going to answer, did a great episode some time ago where you dealt with some question and answers that came to you at a live event. So go back and check out that top 10 question and answers from
Love
Pete.
the Pittwater peeps. Great day.
Yeah, that was the Pittwater Anglican. Thank you very much, Pittwater Anglican. Invite Pete back. And actually, if you want Pete or myself, I can tag along. I can carry stuff. I can be there as moral support.
I've carried the podcast, so you can carry something.
Exactly right. It's about time I did something. So I could also come along to your church, to your event, Money, Faith and Finance. Happy to come to you. Get in touch with us at hopepodcast.com.au.
Okay, another burning question I've had, which is something we've talked about between ourselves before, is how can I change my side hustle into full-time? Sort of a second question came out of that is, when is the right time to start a business and what do I need to do?
And when's a good time? Spring?
Yeah,
winter?
it's like, not at Christmas generally.
Second day of February?
People have spent all their money.
What's the best time to start a small business?
I think, going back to the side hustle one, I would think you need to try it and build it. I often say to people when they've got a second job or it's part-time, I think part-time effort will get you part-time results. I think with a side hustle, you've got to work out, is it just a passion project and I'm doing it because it helps my mental health and it's an outlet and I don't want it to be financial? Or is it actually, this is an income stream and a career that I want to move into?
But how can I go beyond part-time effort into something that is part-time? Let's say if I'm working full-time, how can I put full-time effort into my side hustle so that my side hustle becomes my full-time thing?
Look, it's true. And that's why one of my answers about when is the right time to start a business is, spoiler alert, there is no right time. There's no, no unicorn day of the year that you go, it's quiet. Yet there's willing customers out there and I've got no financial pressures and I've got lots of money in the bank. There's probably never...
Mate, I feel gypped.
I know,
I really thought that you were going to say, I don't know, September 12th.
There's no right time. It's just when you're ready. But also too, I do think if you've got people in your life that are dependent on you, you do need to have brought them into the conversation. It helps to have a buffer behind you, not just a financial buffer, but also to a support buffer. So you might need to be able to say, you know what, our income's going to go sideways or backwards as a family while I develop this side hustle. It's a financial risk. Are we all on board with it? But I generally think The younger in life, probably the better. As you get older, you've probably got more people to be accountable to, and you've probably got more debt and dependence, as I say. And you generally maybe got a little bit more energy to throw at it, and you can throw longer hours at it as well.
On the Facebook group, a regular contributor weighing in saying, so it's the start of the year now. We're about 6 months-ish away until the next tax return time. What should I actually do now to maximize my returns?
Yeah, so when you talk about maximizing returns, you might mean something like, get me a bigger refund is, what most people are headed for. You've got to spend your money on your deductions generally before the end of tax year to be able to claim them. Stationary items you need to do for work, you need to keep records. You need to spend the money on them if you want to claim them this year. If it's something like a superannuation contribution that you'd like to claim back in your tax return, you need to send the money to your fund before the end of June. And if you've got an accountant or an advisor or someone that you normally talk to about these things, talk to them now. You can't talk to them after June about things you want to claim from before June because they might give you advice that you can't act on or it's too late. So spend the money now, have the conversation now, where possible.
Now, we're going backwards and forwards between the Money, Faith and Finance Facebook group. Thank you very much for your contributions. And these other burning questions that are coming across your desk, Pete, such as?
Is a second job worth the time versus the tax? So there's a big urban myth about a second job is you lose half in tax. It's not true.
People do kind of say it like that, don't they?
They shake their hands and they have an old person's voice. Yeah, pretty much.
You're saying that's not true?
It's not true. You just pay the same amount of tax as if you're paying on your first job. It's called your marginal rate of tax. So if you're paying 30 cents in the dollar on your existing job and you get a second job, what happens is that second employer can't give you the tax-free threshold. They can't give you the first $400 a week tax-free like your first job did. So most people feel like they pay a slightly higher amount of tax on that second job, but it's the same amount of tax overall. You've still got to lodge a tax return at the end of the year, and most people either get a bit of a bill if they haven't had enough tax taken out, or they get a bit of a refund. I think the time is a question that's got to be dealt with by you. Do I have the time, passion, energy, interest, family support to justify a second job? The tax is the tax, man. Like if you work and make $100, you're going to pay tax. So yes, I would generally say it's worth it.
So I was just vaguing out a little bit towards the end there because you said Taxman and it reminded me of that song Taxman.
Yep.
And you must get that all the time.
And then
I love this question from Yolanda. Can you talk, Pete, about the phrase that can be used by politicians, quote unquote, strong economy, but how it affects our day-to-day lives? I often find politicians, economists say all sorts of stuff, including strong economy.
We want a strong economy.
We want it or we have it or whatever. But what does that have to do with me on a day-to-day basis?
I think what our politicians, and the reason they want a strong economy is it's the confidence that comes with it. So a strong economy might necessarily mean everybody's better off, but what they want is more people to be better off. So a strong economy generally says people that want a job have got a job. You can afford a house if you can afford a house, investment happening in different parts of the economy, unemployment's low, interest rates are at a level that aren't too high, and people feel confident. If they've got money in their pocket and a job, people feel confident, and then they go and spend, which keeps shops going, which keeps the engine of the economy going.
So I should be spending so that our economy is strong, so that I'm confident that our economy is strong?
I think what they want is people to make longer term decisions. And if people feel a lack of confidence about their personal circumstances, people are less likely to take a second job, start a side hustle, go and invent some great idea. If people don't feel confident about the economy and about their finances, they don't often take risks or spend money. So what the government wants is generally a strong economy that is not an impediment. You know, if the economy's strong, it doesn't fix every problem, but it's generally seen by most governments these days as the bedrock of safe, stable society, democracy.
What are your thoughts, Pete, as a Christian and as an accountant on restaurants and businesses, this is from Sam, on restaurants and businesses that give a 5 to 10% discount for cash and a 2% surcharge on cash? Hang on, should that be credit or?
Or using the card, I guess.
Using the card, 2% surcharge on the card or a discount for cash. What are your thoughts as a Christian and as an accountant?
The 5 to 10% discount, it's tempting enough to say, why wouldn't you take it? So as someone that doesn't go to the ATM much, it's actually made me recently go to the ATM to take out money because our local chicken shop says, you know, we'd prefer cash. We're a small business. It's a 1% surcharge. So straight away I'm thinking, well, if it's $40 for my chicken and chips, why should I pay that extra 40 cents to get the same product?
Amen, my brother.
So I think as a Christian, I don't think necessarily I want the banks and financial institutions getting any more out of a transaction that is just old mate Pete buying his chicken and chips. Why can't that just be between the shop and I if I've got the $40? I think as a Christian, I'm trusting that I've earned my money honestly. Why can't I just pay you? You get the cash, you pay your bills out of it, you pay tax on what's left over.
Wow, I love that your reflection on Sam's question can boil down to an equality in transaction between
all about the humble
peoples.
chicken shop, yeah.
And any other questions that have been burning up your office?
Yes,
And now you're going to sweat it out as you answer them.
I'm sweating it out. I had another one where a friend of mine said to me, a university degree is worth the time and money, or do I just start working and study at the same time? And possibly have my employer assist with my education. So I hate to sound like a politician, but I'd probably say depends. So,
You've done pretty well all the way through these burning
I've given
questions.
these hard yes or no's, and now I'm like,
depends.
If you're unsure about what you want to do and you're not gung-ho on your career, to me there'd be an argument to say, get a job, start working, get some traction, feel if you actually like the industry you're in, and then you could always go and study. And you could possibly have an employer or a career situation that would assist you with that, whether it's time off. So that's what we do at our work. We employ people as accountants. They study accounting degrees part-time. Just in case they're not excited enough at work, they get an exciting uni degree as well.
Before we get to Show Me the Money, Pete, one last question that needs to be asked and also answered.
Okay, all right. So somebody said to me, what are some of the tools out there to build my savings? Is it better to have 50 grand in savings or pay off my home loan? So in a perfect world, you'd maybe do both, but the person in question is probably thinking, my home loan's already here and not going away for the next few years. Am I better to just throw any money I built off that or do something else?
Yeah.
In that case...
So is that like an interest and an investment argument at that point?
Well, because I generally say to people, it's hard to beat paying off your home loan. It's generally earning you 6%. There's no risk to paying it off, and it's after-tax return. It saves you 6% for the rest of that life of the loan. The problem is it doesn't necessarily make the asset any better. Your house is still your house. It's going to go up or down by what it's going to do. I would probably say to someone, if you had 50 grand, I'd probably go a bit each way, throw some off the house, and I'd probably start a share portfolio, maybe some ETFs that we've talked about on the pod, hashtag available for, like sponsorship at any stage. I would get an ETF. Start investing in the share market and build up some alternative assets. You can always still sell them and get your money back, but you're earning some income that may end up being as good as or beat the return of paying off your home loan.
That is a great trailer. We have an upcoming interview with Roger Montgomery about alternative investments. Stick around for that. That's going to be coming very, very soon. Before we get to that, and this almost seems wrong, Pete, but we do this every time, so I feel duty-bound to do it. Show me the money. You've been showing us a lot of money all the way through.
Yeah.
But here's me now just asking for more. Show me the money on everything that we just talked about, right? Everything that you just talked about, show us the money.
I think it's okay to ask all these questions. Better questions get better answers. So what I mean by that is you got to dig into your life a bit. You got to dig into what happens if I do this? What is that? I think ask a question and ask of people in your life that have got something to contribute, and then do something about the answer. That's the catch, is you need to do something. A question that is not acted upon is just a thought bubble.
You heard the man. You need to act right now at hopepodcast.com.au. Any question that you've got for the Money, Faith and Finance team, we would love to answer it on a future episode, hopepodcast.com.au.
Yep.
Also join the Facebook group. Thanks to everybody, Sam and Alex, for sending us your questions, and thank you for answering them, Pete. Money, Faith and Finance at Facebook. Join the group. We'll be back on the next episode, Pete, and you will be Pete. I answer everybody's questions. Burrows,
yes,
Lower Russell and Farr, Penrith. Check him out there. Individuals and small businesses. You are an accountant for.
Yes.
Yeah. You've had so many.
I am, yes.
You've had so many questions in a short period of time that you even took that one as a question.
Hang on a sec. What does it really mean? What's the two answers to this question?
It was on the verge of a question, possibly a statement.
Yeah, I get
I'll
you.
leave you to weigh that up. I'm Ben McKecken, Hope Mornings. We will see you next time, Money, Faith and Finance.